Welcome back to Let's Talk Finances with Dr. Nina White. First of all, I want to take this time to say thank you for supporting, sharing, sending in messages about the show. I truly appreciate it because one thing that I love about this platform is that we're having real conversations about real financial situations. Now, over the last few episodes, we've spent a lot of time talking about saving money, building financial discipline, investing, budgeting, and what else? Preparing for your future. But today, I want to shift this conversation just a little bit because what's the point of building wealth if you're not going to protect it, right? And honestly, this topic came from so many conversations that I've been having lately with family members, friends, and even clients. People are talking about identity theft, hacked bank accounts, stolen debit card information, business fraud, fake wire transfers, people losing access to their savings, and even family fighting over money after someone passes away. And I realized something. A lot of people know how to make money, but some people are not learning how to save it, right? So even when they're learning how to make money, sometimes they're learning how to save it, but they also may forget as well. But not enough people know how to protect what they've built. And that's what today's episode is going to be about. Protecting your finances, protecting your assets, protecting your business, and protecting your future. So like I tell you, every single week, call your family and your friends in the living room, text someone, and let someone know that we're on. So let's start a real life situation. Talk about that happened more than people realize. So imagine a woman named Angela. Angela did everything right. She worked hard, saved consistently, and avoided unnecessary spending, right? She finally built her savings to over $40,000. $40,000 in savings. That's great, right? Now, from the outside, of course, everybody say, oh, she's doing amazing financially. But one day, she gets a text message that looks like it came from her bank. The logo looked real. The message sounded urgent. It said there was suspicious activity on her account. So guess what she did? Clicked the link. And within hours, her account was compromised. Now, imagine emotionally the damage that she received from that, right? Not just the money, but the panic, the embarrassment, the fear that came behind that. And this is why financial literacy today has to include financial protection. Because scammers are getting smarter by the day, right? I tell my mother this, elderly people that surround me. My mom would be 75, but I don't consider her elderly. But telling her, like, she'll get a text message and she'll forward it to me or something. And I'm like, don't open that. That's a scam. Don't. Or she'll get, because many a times, and again, hearing this conversation from someone on a personal note, I mean, I've also been a victim of identity theft years ago, but I knew what to do, like moving forward, how to protect myself. So this is real. And I was like, I have to shift this conversation because I do not want people to not be aware, right? Because people think that you're going to get like a random phone call or you're going to get a text message from financial institutions or things like that, or the bank is going to call you, or the IRS is going to call you. This is the thing, like, it's important that we explain this, right? You cannot click every link. You cannot answer every phone call, and you can't trust every single email. And let me say this clearly. Your bank will never randomly ask you for your password, your PIN number, or full verification information through a text message. Never. Okay? Never. Protecting your finances today means protecting your digital life as well. Use strong passwords. Enable the two-factor authentication. Monitor your accounts on a regular basis. Check your credit reports. That is so important because prevention is cheaper than recovery. I'll say this, that two-factor authentication, I used to didn't like it, but I use it, right? I use it. I get verification through my email. I get it through my cell phone because it wants to make sure, hey, is this you? If I log into another device with my information, I'll get an email, hey, we see that your login is being used for another device. Is this you? Right? And so, yes, it's me, right? Because it's protecting me, right? And you all have to think about that as well, protecting yourself. And again, these conversations aren't usually had. Most people don't have these conversations with their, advisors or whatever. They don't have those conversations. But this is why it's so important when I tell you to bring your family and your friends in the room, because they need to know, right? You're hearing the show and you're listening to it, and you're probably calling someone after the show went off and say, oh my God, Dr. Nina talked about this, this, and this. You have to watch the show, right? So this is imperative. So now I want to talk to my business owners. Yep. I'm going to talk to you as well, because sometimes the biggest financial threat doesn't come from strangers. Sometimes it's those poor systems. Y'all remember me talking about systems in the past. It is important that we get strong systems. Imagine a business owner named Marcus. Marcus owns a growing trucking company. Business is doing well, right? Money's flowing, new contracts coming in. But Marcus is so focused on growth, he never created any type of financial controls. So one employee had access to everything. Everything. Payroll, business accounts, vendor payments, bookkeeping. And because Marcus trusted them, he stopped checking. How many of you know that right there alone would draw up a red flag? Months later, he discovered thousands of dollars missing, unauthorized payments, personal purchases, fraud, and automatically, by the time he caught it, the damage was already done. Trust is not a financial strategy. As business owners, you must protect your business with systems. Separate business and personal accounts. I have to get on clients about that anyway. Separate business and personal accounts because they like to commingle money, right? I had that conversation a couple episodes ago, probably season 1. Commingling money. I have to get on my starting a business. They're like, I understand you're using your personal money to be able to build your business. But again, you don't use your business bank account for personal reasons, and you don't use your personal bank account for business reasons. But anyway, I ain't gonna fuss at y'all too much today, okay? But again, review the statements regularly. Limit account access. Use secure payroll systems. Have accountability in place. Hey, let me plug this in. We do offer payroll, just in case you need someone to help you with your payroll. We do payroll at M&D Accounting. Just want to throw that plug in there to you business owners. So listen, it is so important. Just because money is coming in It doesn't mean your business is financially secure. As a business owner, I'm going to say to you, you build your team intentionally, right? You build that team, and of course, you hire people that fit whatever qualifications relating to your business. You do the background checks, right? Find out about them. Listen, check their social medias. You got to do, you're hiring someone, right? So, especially if you're putting someone in a management position where they're having to access accounts, right? It's important that you go back and look. You can't just say, here's all my information and go ahead and do what you need to do. No, that's not what you do. You put limits. If you got credit cards for your business, you put limits on that card. What that person can and cannot purchase, the amount of money that they can and not spend. The access to certain systems. Give them limited access to what they need and continue to check behind them. No, you're not micromanaging. No, you're not micromanaging, but you're protecting your business, right? Because at the end of the day, if they chose to leave, now you got to rehire and start all over and get someone else to understand the processes. But one thing I will put in a plug for you, because I do that with M&D accounting. If it has anything to do with credentials, financial institutions, people's money, banks, social security numbers, whatever, do an NDA. Do an NDA and have them sign it. That's what I do with M&D accounting. So it's protecting not only me, not only M&D, but also my clients, right? So anybody who works for M&D accounting is signs a NDA, right? Just that plug for you. So now let's go back to this. I need you all as business owners to make the upgrades, right, with your systems. Is your systems have strong passwords on it, right? The antivirus protections and all of that. Continuing to run checks on your computer systems. Get you someone in IT. Get you a strong IT person that can come in and be able to help you, and make sure that you have the firewalls and all of that stuff in place to protect you and your business, right? Because protection matters. It matters. So, and honestly, a lot of business owners, like I said, they focus on making money, but they completely ignore the protection. We can't keep doing that, business owners. Remember, we're thinking like CEOs, right? CEO thinking. We are thinking like CEOs. We're changing our mindset on how we look at money, right? We're building a business. So protect your business, protect your assets, okay? I know over the last several episodes we've talked about savings heavily, right? That's just the thing. And yes, savings is important. But I want to challenge you just to think a little bit differently today, okay? Savings alone is not enough, right? Not anymore anyway. It's not enough. Because what has happened? Inflation. Inflation changes everything. Emergencies happen. Medical issues happen. Job layoffs happen. If you're watching the news, you see how many companies have shut down. Thousands of people have lost their jobs, and now they're out here looking for jobs and trying to get jobs based off of how much money they made there, and they may not be able to get that. And so the job market is absolutely just, it's crazy right now, right? So you have to be mindful. Savings is different now, right? And so if your entire financial plan is just simply, I have some money sitting in the bank, that's not complete protection strategy at all, okay? People think, oh, I got some money in the bank, I'm good. What about if the bank crashes? What about if we're not, any type of technical situation, because we're living in a technical world? What if something happens and you can't access online banking, online credit cards? Do you all have anything at home? You need layers of protection, emergency savings, insurance, retirement planning, asset protection, estate planning, because life can change overnight. just like that, right? Imagine someone builds up a nice amount of savings but has no health insurance. One medical emergency could wipe out your years of financial progress. Or imagine someone owns property but doesn't have proper coverage. One lawsuit, one accident, one unexpected event. Everything changes. Everything. This is why financial wisdom is bigger than budgeting. It's about protecting your future from risks you don't have to always see coming, right? You might not always see them coming, but this is important. Financial wisdom, right? You gotta know it, right? People think, well, I'm budgeting. And yes, I talk about that, but this is a little bit deeper. So now I want to talk about something people avoid because they think it only applies to the rich. And I'm about to blow all y'all minds right now because listen, sometimes even the rich don't do this. We want to talk about trusts, wills, estate planning. And let me say this to you. Estate planning is not only for millionaires. It is not. It is for anyone who cares about what happens to their family and finances. Think about that for a moment. Because I know I heard it. I mean, I've heard it in the past. I hear it now. People are not thinking about estate plannings. They're not thinking about trust. They're not thinking about wills. They automatically, some people are like, oh, well, it'll just go to my children, or it'll automatically go to my spouse or whatever. You can't assume anything. And listen, y'all know what they say about that assume word, but you can't assume everything, okay? So imagine this, a father, he owns a home, he has a small business, has a savings account, and he even got some life insurance, right? But what is missing? He never creates a will, never created a trust, never organizes anything legally. Then something unexpected happens. Now, the family is stressed emotionally and financially. People are confused, accounts are frozen, family members are arguing, the courts are now involved. And unfortunately, this happens every single day. I've seen it in my own family. This is why I put things in place, because I was like, I do not want to go through that. I do not want my kids to have to deal with that. I want to have everything in place, and all they got to do is just make one phone call, right? I'll tell you about me, right? There's a card. My daughter has a card. I thought I might have given it to my mother. I'm not sure, but it's also in our safe. And on that card, it's all of my policies, right? And it's everything I want, where I want to be buried, what church, what pastor, everything. What I want to be, my makeup, because I told my daughter my makeup better be beat to the gods, is what I told her. Everything I have laid out. Everything. I have everything, my whole process, from the type of casket I want, like everything. And guess what? All she has to do is call one number. And when she calls that one number, that's it. She doesn't have to worry about anything else. Because I don't want the stress on her. Bad enough, she's going to be you're having to bury her mom, right? So I don't want the stress of her trying to figure out what to do and how to do it and this and that. Took the stress right out of it. So it's a smooth process all the way through, right? So now, imagine this. Opposite situation. Someone creates a trust. Their paperwork is organized. Beneficiaries are updated. Instructions are clear. Now, instead of chaos, we got some structure in place, right? That is financial protection as well. Protecting your family after you're gone is a part of financial responsibility. And business owners, especially you need to hear this. If you own a business and something happens to you tomorrow, what's next? Those are the conversations that I have with business owners. That's why I have my CFO plans in place, right? For them to come in and, I have different packages because I'm talking about the end, not necessarily tomorrow or the next 6 months or the next year. The ending. What's your end game when it comes to your business? If something was to happen to you, do you have these things in place? Those are the conversations I have, right? And those are my big ticket items, But I'm sitting down with CEOs and we're talking about this. These are the conversations that we're having. And it needs to be had because what happens next, right? Who takes over? Who has access? What protections are in place? I was just having this conversation with my operations manager the other day, about positioning her, right? To be able to be in that role. Who takes over next? My daughter's going to school to be a physical therapist. She's going to know the whole operation of the business, but she's not trying to work in it on a day-to-day basis. So these are some uncomfortable conversations, but they're necessary conversations. And then next you have identity theft. This is becoming fast-growing financial problems. And people don't realize how damaging it can be until it happens to them. Imagine waking up and finding out your credit cards were open in your name. Loans were taken out. Your tax return was rejected because someone already filed under your social security number. That's real life. That's happening now, okay? Protect your information. Do not post every detail online. Shred sensitive paperwork. Check your credit on a regular basis and freeze your credit if necessary. And parents, please protect your children's information as well, because scammers are now targeting social security numbers of children since they usually go unchecked for years. You're not thinking about that, your child 0 to 10, 15 to 8, you're not thinking about that, but you need to protect your child. That's something families need to think about on a consistent basis. It's not enough to make money. It's not enough to save money. You must protect what you have built, right? Protect your accounts. Protect your identity. Protect your business. Protect your assets. And most importantly, protect your family's future. In all honesty, this conversation is so important because too many people are working hard, but leaving themselves exposed financially. And I don't want that for you. I don't. I want you to build wealth wisely. I want you to protect your future intentionally. And I want you to think long term. Because financial success is not just about what you earn. It's about what you keep, what you protect, and what you pass down. So, if you're looking for professional financial guidance, our team at M&D Accounting is here to assist you. You can call our office at 1-877-839-7778. Again, that number is 1-877-839-7778. You also can email us at contactus@mdaccounting.org. Again, email us at contactus@mdaccounting.org. And if you have a question or a comment that you would like for me to share on the next episode, send that to our text system, 844-436-2788. Again, 844-436-2788. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm Dr. Nina White, and this has been Let's Talk Finances. I'll see you next week.